What is up, everybody? Welcome to Proper Wellbeing Chat with myself, Ross Gyrey, and my co-host, business partner, incredible personal trainer, and rock climbing guru, my personal rock climbing coach, although I might not be the best student, Mr. Ben Johnson.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, definitely not the best student. I mean, you haven't been climbing for ages to start off with.
I know.
So, yeah, it's shocking.
What I'd say to that is I'm massive, so
Is it?
it's
Oh,
tough for me, man.
yeah,
But
yeah,
do you know what? It was next level, and I will get back at it. And now I've said it on a bloody podcast. It'll have to happen
yeah.
with all the accountability stuff we do.
Yeah, yeah, mate. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm down there 3 or 4 times a week, so you've got no excuses about fitting it into that busy lifestyle that we all lead.
Well, maybe at the end of today's podcast, I might be able to just worm it in. Because what are we talking about today, good sir?
Well, today, funnily enough, we're talking about mastering that work-life balance and making sure that you are doing the things that you need to be doing, want to be doing, for your health, well-being, fitness, all that kind of stuff, whilst juggling everything else that goes on in life. So be that, kids, school and all that kind of stuff, feeding the family, as well as the demands of the 9 to 5 job, or for most people seems to be even more than a 9 to 5 job these days, be that working from home, be that in the office, or like a lot of people seem to be doing these days, they're going back into this office on a hybrid setup, we've heard it called. And this is all new. This is new things that are offering new challenges to people. So we're here to dig into, how these challenges can be overcome, but also the opportunities that a lot of this stuff provides as well, and how we can take advantage of those opportunities to maximise health, well-being, and fitness, whilst mastering that work-life balance.
And it's one of them, isn't it? That work-life balance is always something that's been spoken about, but with this new hybrid setup, it's definitely worth refreshing. And
Yeah,
I would bet a lot of people actually don't have work-life balance on point. And I'm talking not as in you have time to eat food and you get to work on time. I mean, as in you have family time, you are looking after your health, you're
mm,
still doing great things in work. Like, I'd say that is the balance. You're looking after your self-care. Obviously, that comes under the
yeah,
health and the mental health side of things. But that is what mastering work-life balance is. We can all go to work and eat food. That's not it. We need to get
yeah,
time for training, time for looking after our mind, time for the family. There's a lot to it. And with this new hybrid trend, which a lot of companies are going into now, it's definitely a good time to look at how can people actually master that work-life balance. So what is it that people want? What does good work-life balance look like?
Well, it's a tricky one, because I think, again, as we always talk about it, it is personal to individuals, but it's about being able to effectively juggle all the demands that life throws at you, isn't it? So to kind of use myself as an example, it's half term in my house at the moment, so my son's off school. My wife's managed to take a couple of days off work, and then I've got a couple of days off later on in the week. So it's like, okay, how are we fitting in having children, and kind of what's going on there, and making sure that their needs are looked after? How are we eating healthily and kind of getting out with the kids? But then also, like I'm sitting here right now, it's like we've still got work to get done, and where does that fit in? And then not only that, it's like, how do I actually look after myself? And I think this is the most important bit. How do I look after myself in this whole process, and kind of not take that back seat with my health, fitness, and well-being? Because I think people appreciate that as soon as you start taking that back seat yourself, everything else can deteriorate, because you don't, your energy levels start dropping off, or, you pick up aches and pains because you're not moving around as much or hitting those yoga sessions. Soon you find out that you're putting on an extra few pounds because your healthy eating's going out the window. It's all those little bits, and saying, okay, how do we balance all of that stuff?
And one thing you mentioned there that I want to go into briefly is you were talking about when things get a bit crazy, normally people drop off their self-care. They normally drop off like going to the gym or looking after mental health or whatever it is. They put themselves bottom of the priority, behind work, behind family. And it's what we've been accustomed to. In work, we get accustomed to we've got to be the hardest worker. In family life, obviously, like putting the kids first is something that is absolutely drilled forward. But you've got to be able to do those things alongside prioritizing yourself, haven't you? You can't just cut out
Yeah,
yourself to find
yeah,
balance, because what you'll realize, and people listening will realize, because I'm not I'm not speaking to you here, Ben.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah. I
listeners
know
will
this stuff, mate.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you need a hand, mate, I know a great coach.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So what
I was going to say, but just if I could jump in there very, very briefly, because I think sometimes as coaches we do put ourselves forward. It's like we do live this stuff as well. You know, this is stuff that I get wrong now and again, and all the rest of it. So, you know, whilst we hold ourselves up as this kind of pinnacle, yeah, we kind of think we know what's going on. It's a challenge that each and every one of us faces. Sometimes we get it wrong, but it's about trying to do the best that we can to get it right. So, yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
hey, it's all good. It's all good. And I think it's one of them that I don't know where I was going, mate. I don't know where I was going. I went off track from the notes, and I'm going to bring it right back in with challenges that people face with work-life balance, particularly at the
Yeah,
moment, right? So let's go back into that hybrid setup for the moment. And for those who don't know what hybrid is, it's kind of working from home some of the week, working in the office some of the week. Makes sense. It's probably going to be a long-term thing, and that's bringing new challenges because what some people really improved fitness during lockdown, right? Everything was spot on, just training in the living room, things were great, able to go out running whatever time of the day you wanted, and things were spot on. But some people found it real tricky, like their usual office routine of either training in the gym at 6 a.m. or 5:30 when they finish work or whatever. That, like, lockdown suddenly interrupted that.
yeah,
So what that essentially brings up with the hybrid side of things is breaking out of that all or nothing mindset, right? People that either did really well in lockdown or people who did really rubbish, right? Because all or nothing is something that we all fall into. And that goes back to what we were just saying a few minutes ago when we were going slightly off track about we can either prioritize ourselves or we don't. And
yeah.
quite often when there's change, we do nothing.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's because change is that challenge to people, and I think you brought it back on track there quite nicely because that's where you were heading before I rudely interrupted you. Is coming into this kind of all or nothing mentality, and when so a change happens, and it's like, and that could be a similar. Obviously, lockdown was this huge disruption to everybody, but we're now in a situation where you may be in the office for a couple of days and then you're at home for 3 days or whatever it may be. And there's a change there day to day, and all of a sudden it's like that's really tricky to kind of get my head around of what do I do on office days and what do I do on home days.
So I've got a
So
question
even
for you there.
yeah, yeah.
So for people who don't know us, why should they listen to us about this?
Well, I'm going to say because we specifically coach busy people, and we have done for at least the last 5 years. Be that companies, be that one-to-one clients. So senior professionals, I would say, people within healthcare, people, solicitors, lawyers, this kind of stuff. People who have these very, very busy work lives already, potentially home lives kind of tacked on top of that as well, and yet still manage to maintain, I'm going to say, real good levels of health, fitness, and well-being. I mean, it's all about that being sustainable for them and kind of finding out what their way of doing this stuff is. So that's why you should listen to us, because we've been coaching busy people for at least the last 5 years, if not longer.
Wait, so all our clients aren't just bums?
No, no, no. They
They're
all,
not they're
oh,
not just all sat in pajamas and able to train 24 hours a day and all have private chefs.
yeah,
They're all actually doing
absolutely.
this themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, neither are they just sitting there having nothing to do in their lives, but neither are they the other end of the spectrum where everything gets done for them with those private chefs and freebie personal trainers and all the rest of it. It's like these are just normal people holding down their. Well, I'm going to say probably the ones that you deal directly with. I know the ones that I deal with. It's not a 9 to 5 job. You're lucky if it's an 8-6 job and maybe a little bit on the weekend as well.
Absolutely. So what we're about to share with you to help you with your work-life balance is to break you out of that all or nothing mindset. It's to kind of overcome what perfectionism, like I have to be spot on, I have to do everything right, or I'm not going to do anything. And it's also more supportive, so it reduces self-criticism, and you will absolutely get progress from it.
I think that's probably the most important bit there. Is it's about making progress. It's not about being perfect every single day. Nobody can be perfect every single day. Not even me. Try though I do. No. But it's like if you go for nothing, then you're not going to achieve any progress. If you can do 5%, 10%, 50% of what you want to get done that day, you're going to make some progress, yeah, and kind of accept that and take those wins. But let's dig into a couple of challenges, mate. So these are kind of common ones that we come across, and I'm going to say for people getting a workout, particularly a home workout in, that'll be one. So any top tips for getting a workout in? Doesn't matter what time of day it is, whether you're at home, whether you're potentially in the gym. And what are your top tips for getting a workout in?
Oh, it's all about taking advantage of your time and your energy levels.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Like the amount of people that try and force a workout in at 6 p.m. when they've had a full day at work and they're battered and they don't like it, they don't enjoy it.
yeah,
Yet there's some people that try early morning. It doesn't work for them. You've got to work with your energy levels. You've got to work. Some people are better in the morning, some are better in the evening. All right. But having a plan, getting in there,
yeah.
booking it in your calendar, all these little things are going to help you increase your accountability to get the job done.
And getting that prep in there as well, getting changed, getting your mat out, getting some banging tunes on, getting your water bottle ready, all those little bits and bobs. If you get them done, if you're going to work out in the evening, for example, get them done in the morning. Yeah, get set up, ready to go. So when you walk back in the door or you finish work and you turn your computer off, boom, you're there. You put your, I'm sure in your case, tunes wise, it'd be like, I don't know, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, that kind of stuff. Away you go. Happy days.
Yeah, only on the cheerful days.
All right.
More power ballads if I'm feeling sad and just want to rest and cry in my rest time. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
sometimes movie theme tunes, I'll just listen to them, like Lord of the Rings if I'm going walking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say, well, music. I mean, all joking aside, music is a huge motivator. So getting some banging tunes on whatever you're going to enjoy. I mean, most people don't enjoy the kind of things I listen to when I'm training. We're talking about punk and some serious hardcore metal stuff. Boom, but it gets me in the mood and it gets me going. So yeah, get prepped for that home workout. And then the second one that people talk about just seems to come up again and again is getting a healthy lunch when you're in the office. So what sort of tips have we got for people trying to get a healthy lunch in when they're in the office?
do you know what I think right now this is easier than ever. Easier than ever to get a healthy lunch. Every single supermarket has low calorie prepped meals already, like microwave meals.
Yeah,
There's like tuna that's already drained. There's healthier sandwiches. Like even if you are still buying your lunch, you can still just buy the lowest calorie options available. Like
yeah,
even on a worst case scenario, right? You're on a meal deal. You can still get a meal deal for like 405 calories and like 45 grams of protein because you can get like Diet Coke, you can get the highest protein, lowest calorie sandwich, you can get a snack that's
yeah,
all high in protein or fruit or something like that. And that's worst case scenario, right? It's
yeah,
actually real easy to do. You've just got to get in the habit of checking. Best case scenario, on some of your quieter days, prep for when you have busier days and you need food there whenever you need it, right? And that is one of the ways that we help people with
yeah,
this hybrid lifestyle. It's something that we've helped people with for years, right? But specifically right now with hybrid lifestyle, if you are struggling with life balance, one of the most important things you can do is have two schedules for what makes you happy and what makes you healthy. All right. So, for example, if you're setting yourself 3 habits that you want to be getting done to make yourself feel the best you can absolutely do, on a busy day, your habits will be And that's maybe where you would maybe just look at hitting your protein target, getting a certain amount of steps in, 7,500 steps. But on a quiet day, my habits will be, right, well, this is when I get my workout in. This is when I do my meal preps. Okay, so you have different schedules for different days. Maybe you walk 12,500 steps instead. All right. But just because you've got a busy day doesn't mean that you get away with doing absolutely nothing. All right. You've got to still take action. So set yourself up 2 calendars. One of the most important things you can do. On a busy day, I'll do this. On a quiet day, I will do this. All right.
Okay, so I mean that sounds like real simple. So you're basically saying there that you've got to get something done, but you have a little look in your calendar and you say, look, today is going to be mad hectic. I've got this meeting here, I've got to travel down there, and the kids are off out to clubs or drama or whatever it is in the evening. But that then means that I'm going to get in less steps. I'm going to make sure I get my protein target. I don't worry about the rest of my calories or whatever. And I'm going to do 10 minutes of meditation, but you make sure that those happen. That's it. That's your busy day done. But then when you're nice and easy, if you like, and I don't know if anybody has an easy life, but it might be a Saturday or a Sunday, for example, you can spend an hour getting meal prep done or something like this. So you add those additional habits in on top of your basics, and away you go.
Yeah. So on those busy days, you want to be making those healthy habits faster, right? You want to be making them not very time consuming. All right. So what we want you to do to get the absolute most from this podcast is to set up 3 daily habits that you'll complete on a busy day. And then the same again for your quiet days. Okay. Really essential that you do that. Don't just listen to this podcast and not do anything about it. Set up 3 daily habits for the busy days and same again for the quiet days. And then something that helps, something that we clients up with is setting a target for how many days that you're going to go through those each week. For example, you might have 4 busy days, 3 quiet days. All right. So have a think about that. Make it fit your lifestyle, everything that we give you. For some people, it might sound vague because you're used to just being told absolutely everything to the money, all or nothing. What we do is make sure that what you are doing, the actions that you're taking is sustainable for you. So it's got to fit you.
Yeah, that's so important. It's like we could give very specific advice, but at the end of the day, if you can't follow it, what's the point in us giving that advice? Well, I think that's critical, mate. You've hit the nail on the head about taking action. Yeah, because it comes down to, it's all very well listening to us, waffling on, wondering what on earth are these going on. But if you take nothing else away from this, go and write those habits, those 3 habits for busy days down. Boom, that's it. And as long as you hit them, you're making progress. Because if you don't do that, then you're still going to be in this potentially chaotic situation where you're not making progress. You're more kind of reacting to events getting thrown at you. You're not in control of them. You're kind of not having that little bit of look ahead in the calendar. So therefore, you're making poor food decisions. You're having to skip workouts because your life's too busy. And that just means that you're feeling tired, your energy levels are dropping, and you get into this cycle of kind of heading downhill. Things are getting more chaotic, you make less progress, you react to and on you go. Whereas, what is the flip side of the coin, mate? What happens if you take control?
Small steps create monstrous change. So you will get consistent long-term progress. Actually being in control of events and prepared for good days and bad days, eating as well as you possibly can, hitting workouts, having greater level of energy and focus. Like the list is endless. You will get absolutely everything you want and become exactly who you want to be from taking action. And especially when you are doing things on your busy days, which is those days where you used to do nothing before this podcast, you will create insane momentum, right? And insane momentum creates motivation, it creates results, it keeps you going, it pushes your comfort zone. All these insane things just from having a plan for busier days, as well as what you're already doing. All right. So
well, that's great, mate. I'm going to say, I'll just leave it there. Have a plan for busy days. we probably should have said that at the top of the podcast, shouldn't we? Yeah, that point.
Literally, like what, 20 minutes gone. And all I say was like 5 words or whatever that was there.
Yeah.
So if
yeah.
you want to find the best version of yourself or chat about your organization improving their mental well-being, for example, because we coach corporate and we coach one-to-one coaching as well, check out our website, which is www.aonhaf.co.uk. Check out Aon Health and Fitness across any of the social medias. Apart from Snapchat and whatnot, we are not down with the kids. I don't think there's an Aon Health and Fitness TikTok account either, unless you're like dancing that I don't know about.
No, mate. But now you've mentioned it, I'm far too old for that kind of stuff, mate. That's not my
We'll
jam.
get you a Christmas Mr. Motivator outfit out,
Oh,
and then
God.
we'll be up to like 200,000 million viewers on TikTok within weeks, just from that leopard
Yeah.
skin outfit that you rocked last Christmas party.
Moving on, mate. Moving on. I think we should call it right. Find us on social media for more helpful things than me in a leopard skin outfit, looking amazing like I did at the last Christmas party. That's what we're saying.
All right, folks. Take care. Thank you for listening. Have a lush day. Goodbye.
Right. Ta-ra.